What's up, everybody? Here to talk about today's General Hospital episode. Today's episode was kind of. I'm gonna flat out say some parts of today's episode kind of bored me. I think today's episode was kind of filler in a way, kind of filler. The main storyline I'm really that has me pumped and excited is this whole their storyline with Robin and stuff like everything like that. That's the only storyline on this show that really has me intrigued. Like today's episode, I mean, I feel like some of the stuff that happened in today's episode could get me intrigued, but if it wasn't so far dragged out. The only thing I really liked today was the stuff with. I like the stuff with Julian, and I actually feel like I can get behind. I can get behind Julian and Carly. I feel like I can actually get behind that couple. I mean, but we also kind of find out today that Julian is also probably he's playing Carly too, just basically because he knows that Carly is always gonna be in Sonny's life, and that's gonna get to Sonny too. That the fact that he is with Carly and whatnot, and but so they had some scenes today where they were having a little breakfast date and whatnot. Then Carlos barges in. His bar is into the office and into Julian's office, and and Julian kisses Carly goodbye, and Carlos and Julian start talking, and Carlos basically says how he thought he didn't know he wants to know why Julian hasn't basically had him, I guess, probably take anybody out yet. He basically says I didn't know why you bumped me off with the Port Charles, basically um the trash of coffee business. And Julian basically broke it down to Carlos that the reason why he wants to break down Sonny's, he's attacking Sonny's because they attacked Sonny's organization again today. They trashed one of his coffee one of his I think that was like one of his shit wasn't really one of his shit he was like one of his storage buildings. They trashed one of Sonny's storage buildings, and he basically tells Sonny Carlos tells Julian that you have to go after the money. It's all about the money. You have to go after the money. You don't go after the person personally. You go after the money. You hurt them where it hurts the most, in their pockets. So basically, Carlos basically says he understands and whatnot. And then Ava walks in, but before Ava walks in, Ava and Morgan has some scenes today that kind of making me become 100% over this whole Ava Morgan thing. It was good while it lasted, but it's time for them to get over all that. Morgan is seriously sitting there catching feelings for Ava. He's sitting there catching feelings for her. I mean, dude, you hope you know she's just using you. She's using her. She's basically using him. And she actually said that she's using him basically to get to Sonny. Cause we all know she tried to use Kiki to get to Sonny. Basically her daughter married Sonny's son. That was gonna be one for her to get to Sonny. But when that basically plummeted, so she's basically saying she's gonna do it herself. So um, and just like I believe Ava's using more and Carly's using, well, not Carly, Julian's using Carly too. But anyway, but yeah, Morgan basically sitting there asking her about Derek and whatnot. What's up with her and Derek and whatnot, and um, she basically says how there's nothing going on between those two, and there will never be nothing going on between her and Derek and whatnot. And she basically says Morgan sounds like he's jealous and whatnot, and she basically asked him. Well, she basically realized the guy actually started to have real strong feelings for her. Starting to have feelings for her. I'm like, Morgan, I know the fact that you're sleeping with an older woman is that because if I was in the same shoes, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'd be over the moon, be basically sleeping with an older woman. Um, if I maybe be in the same situation, I probably take it too. But it's time for him to basically wake up and see that he's getting played, and he basically knows he's getting played because he actually eavesdropped on Ava and Julian's conversation, and that she basically called him her brother and whatnot, and Morgan basically knows. He basically knows everything now that they're trying to go after Sonny. Um, but moving on from that, I actually like the scene between Alexis and Sam, and they finally Sam knows that Julian Jerome is her biological father, and she has a brother out there, um, Lucas out there, and I mean they keep constantly bringing up Lucas. I haven't heard anything about him being cast. I got a little casting tidbit to tell you guys in this video about someone returning for the show. But anyway, about a past character returning. Um, but yeah, I'll talk about that in the end of this video. But yeah, But yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. I was talking. What was I talking about? Lexus and Sam. They were talking about how Julian is actually, in fact, her father and whatnot, and she basically knows how she's never gonna get to meet him. But I hear reading spoilers within either next week or the week after next. Um, I hear Alexis is gonna find out the truth about Derek Wells. That Derek Wells is indeed Julian Jerome. I heard that. I heard it from I read it on the spoiler site, and I also read it from spoilers. People that give me spoilers on YouTube, not YouTube, give me spoilers on Twitter. So yeah, I heard that she's going to find out but the truth about Derek and whatnot, and it's gonna be explosive. But anyway, but yeah, I like the fact that that she found out she indeed found out about Julian being her father. But I'm gonna tell you who it was great to see today. It was great to see. It was good to see Lucy Cole today, and we hadn't seen Lucy Cole in forever. It's great. It was good to see Lucy Cole today, as well as Scott. It was good to see those today. The fact that they're bringing them back into the fold. Um, Lucy's basically going around campaigning for people to vote for Scotty for the new DA, and I actually got a feeling Scotty's probably going to wind up getting the new DA job. Um, and I like the fact that they're picking those stories back up. But anyway, well, yeah, Lucy going around. We didn't ask Michael and Kiki were basically try to get them on their side to vote for. I didn't care about Michael and Kiki today, so I'm not really gonna talk about them. Um, but yeah, that wasn't really that important about them. Well, one thing was important about them today. Diane served Kiki some papers and told her that Morgan wants to get an annulment and he's filing the annulment because of fraud, because it was a fraud marriage. That marriage was basically a fraud, and Diane also told Michael that he she told him that um she's postponing AJ's trial, which is something that needs to hurry up and come back. Been hearing a lot of rumors that Sean Kanan may be out as AJ. I've been hearing a lot of rumors about that. Those rumors have been out there. There's a big casting rumor that he's been fired. That's been out for like the last 2 months or so, because he hasn't really been. Well, he's taped some stuff. I think he taped some stuff last week. He taped some stuff last week, but I haven't heard much about him. Haven't heard well. From what I understand, in November sweeps, they're gonna pick up the whole AJ's trial thing. AJ's trial will pick up, but and like I said, November sweeps is fastly approaching. Because November is like a couple of weeks away, like a week or so away. So it is fastly approaching. So, and I hear that AJ's storyline is gonna pick up. Like I said, we haven't heard anything about Connie's murder at all, in like seriously knocking on 2 months. But anyway, but yeah, but Diane told her that she's trying to get AJ, told Michael that she's trying to get AJ's, um, trying to get his trial stalled and whatnot because trying to basically see if Scott Ballman's gonna get the DA job because he basically helped get AJ out. But anyway, because the current DA, which we found out today is kind of on Sonny's payroll because Sonny basically was sitting there threatening him today because Sonny and Sean were at the I think they weren't at the coffee house and whatnot. But they were at like the storage building because the storage building got trashed, and and they were trying to figure out they basically know who did it. Sonny still going with his thing that Derek Wells is Julian Jerome. Sean basically says asking him does he still believe that theory, and Sonny say yes, he still believe that theory. So he winds up telling the DA. The DA winds up coming there because he heard that there was an attack there, and um Sonny basically talks to the DA and tells him that I think Sonny basically gonna fund his campaign for re-election for DA. Sonny's gonna make sure he stays the DA, and he's gonna make sure he stays DA if he gets him the records of Julian Jerome's the shooting that happened between Jonathan Patrick, who was posed as Duke Lavery, and Julian Jerome. So, but I also read a spoiler that Robert is gonna tell Anna that he knows Derek Wells is Julian Jerome. He's been in the witness protection program for a long time. So that's just what I read. But anyway, what else happened on today's episode? Heather Weber and Franco. Those things were just basically pure comedic. Franco's telling Heather that for Heather painted Franco BOT inspired, some more BOT inspired paintings, and he basically says he's gonna use them in an art show, and well, those things are basically pure comedic and whatnot. And Carly talks about it, gets to collect Franco's rent, and she basically says that he basically tells her that he's gonna do a big art show and whatnot, and Heather gets mad and whatnot, gets mad at him, and he covers it up by saying he's not gonna use her paintings, he's gonna use his own paintings. But we all know Franco's gonna pass those paintings off as he is. But anyway, um, moving on from that. Um, but yeah, moving on from that. What else happened on today's episode? Scotty and Heather ran into each other at the end of today's episode. I'm interested in seeing what they're gonna do with them because from what I read, they have a history together from back in the day. So I'm really interested in seeing where what they're gonna do with that. But anyway, but yeah, but let's what else happened on today's episode? Oh, Lucy, Sam, and Alexis were talking. They were basically talking to them about Victor Jerome back in the day. Talking about Victor Jerome because we all know Victor Jerome back in the day was, from what I read and what I seen from clips, was obsessed with Lucy Cole, and Lucy basically tells her that they basically asked it because they're trying to figure out whether Ava Jerome and Julia Jerome are brother and sister, and she says that she brings up something that about this woman named Demetria that asked if her and Victor have a that he ever father the child. She says yeah, he fathered someone named Dino Jerome. Um, he did father somebody named Dino Jerome, which I will say I've heard this being thrown out there for wishful casting. A lot of people actually been saying they wouldn't mind seeing Marco Dapper Draper, whatever his name is, from we all know he played Carmine on the Young and the Restless. He was actually pretty good on the Young and the Restless. They wouldn't mind seeing him play Dino Jerome. But I wouldn't recommend them bring. Well, they're bringing another character back to the show. But I wouldn't recommend them bring nobody else back on this show because it's 53 characters on this show, and I'm also gonna talk about this whole big Anthony Gary news at the end of this video too. I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on that too. Um, but yeah, so tomorrow, that's really all that happened on today's episode. They basically, like I said, today's episode is basically just a filler episode to me. It was an episode you could have missed. If you missed it, you wouldn't say you really missed anything. But anyway, it was an okay episode. It was a pretty okay episode. Now let me talk about this casting news. Apparently, the actor that played Juan Santiago is coming back to GH. Um, and that he hasn't been on GH in like 12 years. The last time we saw him was like in 2001, and I think it was because this is really when I kind of like started back watching GH. Because I watched some in the 90s and I quit for a while and then went back to it. But yeah, Juan Santiago, I know he used to be in a relationship with Emily Quartermain, and then they broke them up and put Emily with Xander Smith and whatnot. This was way before Emily and Nicholas. But yeah, Juan Santiago left, and like we all know he's Sabrina's cousin. And ironically, the actor in real life is actually married to Rebecca Herbst, who plays we all know who plays Liz, which we need to see more of her on screen ASAP. We need to see more Liz on screen. I demand it. But anyway, but yeah, he's apparently I know his name is Michael something. I can't pronounce his last name, but anyway, so apparently he's coming back, and it's only gonna give Sabrina more storyline, and a lot of people actually saying they wouldn't mind seeing him being paired with Liz because they're married in real life. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of real life couples being paired on screen. Y'all know I can't stand Michael and Kiki, so but anyway. But yeah, Juan Santiago's coming back. Don't know for how long. Don't know if it's gonna be on a contract basis or a recurring basis, but he's coming back. Anyway, but yeah, let me talk about this Anthony Gary situation right quick. Give you guys my thoughts on Anthony Gary. So apparently Anthony Gary, well, GH is going through a bunch of not cast. I don't think they're going to do any cast because they're going to do like a lot of people in the cast are being asked to take pay cuts. And Anthony Gary and this is ABC mandated. They are saying that Anthony Gary needs going to have to take a huge pay cut. I don't. I think it's a 50% pay cut, but I do agree he does need to take a pay cut because he's only on like six months out of the whole year. Because we all know he takes these big long vacations and whatnot and goes to Amsterdam and do whatever. But anyway, but because he's on like 6 months out of the year. And I know he's a legendary character, a legendary soap actor, but basically one of the actors that put this show on the map in the 80s. But from what I hear, he put this show on the map in the 80s. But I do agree. He does kind of he does need to take a pay cut, but from what I hear, he is actually threatening to walk away from GH because he actually did an interview recently that said he would actually rather he wouldn't mind seeing the character of Luke Spencer die if he ever decides to walk away from the show. He wants them to kill the character off. So I'm keeping up with this story, but he could, from what I understand, he's ready to walk. He could walk if he and ABC come up with a don't come up with a solution. He may just walk. So, but anyway, but I will say this: if he does walk, I'll miss the character of Luke Spencer. But one monkey don't stop a show. That's how they always say. That's an old show business term. One monkey don't stop no show. But anyway, I said the same thing with Steve Burton lip. One monkey don't stop no show. But anyway, let me know how you guys feel about that news. Let me know how you guys feel about today's episode. If anything I forgot to talk about, I think I really pretty much covered everything. Anyway, let me know how you guys feel about today's episode. Leave me a comment below, and I'll try to get back to you guys. Anyway, this is Dominic checking out. Peace, God bless, and I'm out.